got my back all hunched over. I can't see shit. Fuck. What the fuck? Long brachiosaurus ass and neck, nigga. Let's go with this. This shit look disgusting. And I feel like making myself suffer, so let's watch it, I guess, nigga.
Sure.
I want to make myself fucking. I just wanna put myself in hell today. Yeah, we skipped those.
Years ago, I remember a wasp stung me and I sobbed for a whole 5 minutes. But a wasp sting is nothing compared to the excruciating pain that...
I mean, I've been stung by a bee before, and wasps probably have way more venom than bees, but it's definitely not gonna kill you, but that shit
some
gonna
poor
hurt.
people have been through. From eye surgery without anesthetic to a plant with a sting that can torment you for years. I hope you never experience any of the agonizing afflictions I'm about to show you. So grit your teeth and brace yourself because it's time to learn about some of the most painful things a human can ever experience. Stones and moans.
You could have did something better than this, dude. This shit sounds sus as fuck, bro. Stones and moans, nigga, bro. Why? Why stones and moans, bro? You could have done something better. Just say kidney stones. The moans part was not necessary, but this shit do look like it hurt though. How do kidney stones even form? I don't know.
Let's be real. Peeing usually feels pretty good. But what if the next time you went to go pee-pee, you had to squeeze out a load of big hard stones from your nether regions?
Ugh.
Well, this isn't a nightmare, but a horrifying reality for 1 in 10 of us. They're called kidney stones, and they form, you guessed it, inside your kidneys.
Yeah.
If you don't drink enough water, your urine will become darker and more concentrated with your body's waste products.
Fuck that shit.
Keep this up, and calcium and other minerals in your urine can crystallize
You always
and
gotta
stick
drink that gallon.
together.
You always gotta drink that gallon a day, my nigga. Always drink your water. The fuck? Niggas just don't.
Crystalline
be drinking. Niggas ain't
formations
hydrated.
are kidney stones, and once they're inside your body, they're incredibly painful to get out. And that's because although they start in your kidney, they move around inside you and eventually pass down through your ureter, a grueling process that doesn't end when the stones get to your bladder. Then you have to flush them out of your pee hole, and this can be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I know. Like kidney stones, your kidneys are connected to your uterus, where you gotta get out your dick hole, bruh. But it is what it is.
Sometimes, though, the stones don't move through your body. Instead, they get stuck inside your kidney and collect there, blocking the flow of urine and making the kidney swell up and bloat. One sufferer on Reddit described this pain as if someone had taken a steel javelin, heated it white hot, rolled it in broken glass, and then thrust it into their back and twisted it around for hours. Yikes.
Jesus.
And you want to hear the craziest thing? The world record for the most kidney stones removed from one
Bro, why is this a world record? The fuck? Who the hell is the nigga making world records if this is
person
one of them?
is a mind-blowing 172,155.
Bro, imagine having to push out over 1,000 kidney stones out your dick hole, bro. How do you even get to that point? Like, what are you eating to where something like this can happen? I'm being honest. Like, what are you doing if this could happen to you? Like what is going on, bro? The fuck?
Fortunately, they had surgery. If they'd had to pass them all naturally, I don't think there'd be anything left of their pea shooter. Okay, I'm off to get a glass of water right now.
Same here, nigga.
Grievous Gimpy. The name Gimpy Gimpy sounds like
Is this a plant that makes you suicidal? Because I've heard of something like this before, if I'm being real with you. I've heard of a plant like this. It makes you super sad. It makes you like suicidal, I'm pretty sure. Or something like that, I don't know.
fun magical sprite from a fairy tale you read as a kid, doesn't it?
No.
Sadly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Though the Gimpy Gimpy plant looks like a fairly standard nettle, this Australian terror has a brutal sting that's been known to last for weeks,
Can this
months,
make you
and even
suicidal?
years. Tiny hairs cover the plant all over, and the tip of each one contains a powerful neurotoxin that, if touched, breaks off and sticks in the skin, causing severe,
Youch.
long-lasting pain. At first, you feel an intense burning. This gets worse and worse for about half an hour, and then can last anywhere from a few hours to several days of sleep-deprived agony. And if you're really unlucky, it can go on a whole lot longer. Ernie Ryder, an Australian forester, found this out the hard way.
Oh
One day
no.
back in 1963, Ernie was working in some foliage when he made a big mistake.
What'd he
He
do?
got too close to the Gimpy Gimpy. Never get too close
Why his shit blue and purple? Like, this is like dead skin. Did he get infected? Like,
to a
what's going
Gimpy
on?
Gimpy, even if it is weirdly fun to say. Ernie stood on the plant accidentally, and when he took his foot off, the branch swung up and smacked him in the face and torso. Instantly, hot, searing pain 10 times worse than anything he'd felt exploded across his body. It was unbearable. Ernie couldn't work or sleep for 2 days, and after he finally got some rest, the agony drew on for another fortnight. Even after that, it didn't stop completely. In fact, the stinging persisted for 2 whole years, recurring whenever he had a cold shower. Damn, cold showers are torturous enough without a punishing stinging pain. The Gimpy Gimpy sounds pretty painful, right? But you know what would hurt even more? Missing out on all the exciting, informative videos I've got planned, so hit those like and subscribe buttons
Bro,
down
that
below
is
and
such a
never
plug,
miss
my
out
nigga.
again. Right, where were we? Solder eye. You know that itchy, uncomfortable feeling when you get an eyelash stuck in your eye?
Yeah,
Ugh,
I've had.
horrible, isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
imagine that, but a million times worse. Reddit user Smartass Guy used to be a plumber when one day he and his boss were soldering some copper pipes for a client.
Okay.
Smartass Guy held the pipes straight with a wrench while his boss used a hot torch to apply the solder. Well, it turns out his boss wasn't such a smart-ass guy. After melting some solder onto the pipe with his torch, the boss noticed a kink in the piping. Taking out his hammer, he hit
Is this connected to the shit toilet? Like a toilet full of
the
doodle?
pipe to correct it, and as soon as he did, a bead of molten hot solder flew off straight towards Smartass Guy. There was no time to react. It shot straight into his eye, searing right through his pupil. The immediate white-hot pain was bad, but for days afterwards, it hurt to blink, hurt to keep his eye open, and hurt to keep it closed too. It was like somebody was continuously rubbing coarse sand in there. The solder had burnt a jagged hole into his cornea, the clear outer layer in the front of the eye. Luckily for Smartass Guy, he escaped with his sight intact, and incredibly, the injury healed on its own in less than a week. As for his boss, well, I doubt they ever saw eye to eye again.
Bro, come on, bro.
Goutrageously painful. Arthritis is a type of joint pain commonly associated with old age. However, there's a debilitating form you can get no matter what age you are, and
What
it's
is it?
the worst in terms of pain. Gout.
You may not call yourself a superhero, but you have many superpowers. The Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep
Gout is a raw, throbbing inflammation of the joint.
What the fuck is that, bro? First off, what is this? That shit nasty, but like, it's like your ankles all swollen. Look like a motherfucking big ass mosquito bit his ankle.
That happens if you indulge in too much red meat, booze, and sugary snacks. These things all
Too much sugary snacks, too much red meat, and too much beef. Just eat fruits and vegetables, bruh. But eating your fruits and vegetables can save you, bro. I'm being real with you, my nigga. Always eat your fruits and vegetables. You never know when something like this could happen. You always gotta eat your protein.
contain purines, which are common chemical compounds. When your body breaks purines down, it produces uric acid in your blood. Consume a lot of purine-rich food, and you'll create a lot of uric acid, which in turn causes sharp urate crystals to form and accumulate in your joints. Now, gout occurs most commonly in the joints of the big toe because uric acid is sensitive to temperature changes. Only at cooler temperatures does uric acid turn into crystals. And since the toe is the farthest from the heart, it's also the coolest part of the body. So yeah, if you get gout, it means you literally have hundreds of tiny, hard, razor-sharp crystals building inside your joints, rubbing against your flesh.
Oh, this nigga got them nasty ass Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fingers, bro. Lump 1, lump 2, lump 3. I don't want to roast him, but that shit
and
is
making
disgusting.
It swell up aggravatingly. Ugh. It's excruciatingly painful because the afflicted areas also become hypersensitive, meaning you might roll around in bed for hours trying to get comfortable, finally to get into a good position, and then bam, a light breeze from your window will be enough to send a hot pain ripping through your joints again. And if a breeze can be that painful, imagine what squeezing the tender area would be like.
No.
Or, then again, don't.
No.
Historically, the condition was known as the disease of kings because only the wealthiest could afford to overindulge enough to get it. Insanely, this association with wealth actually made it a status symbol amongst the aristocracy in 18th century Europe.
Why? What was wrong with niggas back in the day, bruh? So back in the day, you telling me that having a fat ass camel toe, a fat ass fucking nasty ass toe like this was a sign of wealth and power. People back in the day
gloatingly nurse their big toes with an air of superiority. Imagine trying to impress a date by whipping out your disgustingly engorged foot. Man, was I born in the wrong century. The heinous hawk.
Oh no.
Remember how I said earlier that I cried after being stung by a wasp? Well, I'd probably start crying just at the sight of the pain-inducing insect you're about to see. This beast is the tarantula hawk wasp.
I've heard of this. Bruh, this is the tarantula hawk wasp, bro. If I see this, I'm hitting the dash, my nigga. I'm out.
And it has a sting so fearsome that tarantulas flee from it, scared of being...
If a fucking tarantula runs from something, you know it's a demon. You know it's a menace, bro. Bro, I see something like this, bro. I'm chilling and I see this thing pull up. Bro, I'm in the dash, bro. I'm out of there, bro.
Being paralyzed and
like
killed.
Run like that fast,
the wasps grow up to a beefy 4.5 inches in length, and the stingers themselves can reach a terrifying 7 millimeters in length, more than 2.5 times longer than a common wasp's. Your boyfriend might try to tell you size doesn't matter, but this time it definitely does. That's because if you're unfortunate enough to be stung by one of these things, insect expert Justin O. Schmidt says,
oh yeah, this is a nigga who was testing out all types of... What the fuck is on his face? This nigga basically just got stung by dozens of things, and he said that shit was ass. I'm pretty sure that shit was
the only
not
appropriate response is to lay down and scream. And Schmidt's worth listening to. He created his own pain index, ranking 83 different insects on how painful their sting is, all based on personal experience. And you might think Schmidt sounds crazy, but the king of sting knows his stuff. A single sting releases a large quantity of venom that's non-lethal to humans, but produces a blinding, fierce, shockingly electric pain. Now that sounds bad enough on your hand or something, but just imagine it on your eye.
Vaping can deliver toxic metals like nickel and lead into your lungs. That's metal in your lungs.
Fortunately, eye stings from any insect are pretty rare, and this wasp
niggas got stung in the eye?
Plus, if you do get stung, the intense pain only lasts about 5 minutes, but it'll be a hell of a long 5 minutes. In fact, Schmidt only rates one insect sting as more painful than the tarantula hawks, and you'll have to hang around if you want to find out what it is. A key issue. If there's one shockingly strong pain every one of us can relate to, it's stepping on a Lego barefoot. Yeah, it's a bit cliche,
This
but
nigga
that's
stepped
because
on a
it's
key
true.
upright, I
What's
swear, bro.
worse than stepping on a Lego, though, is stepping on an upright car key.
I
Or
knew
at
it.
least that's what this
Oh, that shit is in that nigga foot, bro. This is why I always walk around with. This is why I always walk around with shoes everywhere, even if I'm just around the house. I'm wearing my shoes, cause shit like this could happen, where you step on some type of pointy upright object.
poor guy would
I'm
probably
not
tell
risking it.
you.
I'm not risking it.
Ouch. Okay, so I've got no idea how this could have happened, but I do know it must have hurt, like a lot. The reason stepping on pretty much anything is so painful is because the soles of our feet have an absolute ton of nerve endings in them, making them super sensitive. For contrast, each of our palms have approximately 17,000 nerve endings, whereas the soles of our feet can have up to 200,000 nerve endings each. This seems like a pretty big flaw considering we literally walk on our feet, doesn't it? However, scientists reckon we've evolved this way so that we can feel what we're walking on with enough sensitivity to adapt our walking style to suit it. Say you're barefoot and have to cross a patch of gravel, then a patch of soft grass. You're going to walk across them both very differently, right? Well, without
Stank-ass
sensitive feet, you wouldn't feel the difference and would be more likely to injure yourself. What a catastrophe that would be. Fish out of hell. I'm not a big fan of fish. I mean, I'll eat it, sure, but at a restaurant, it's rarely my first choice. I'd like this fish even less if one was shoved up Be Amazed Jr., if you know what I mean.
Shoved up the asshole?
Okay, so no
What am I
one's
talking
been
about?
running around forcing fish up people's private parts, but they don't have to. The Candiro does that all by itself.
So you telling me this toilet, this fish just swims in your toilet and climbs in your ass?
Tiny fish roam the waters
What
of
the
the
fuck?
Amazon
Pause!
basin in South America, hunting for prey. Spines on the covers of their gills allow the fish to attach themselves to other bigger fish and feed on the blood like little underwater vampires. But for 200 years, more sinister accounts of these vampiric fish have spread across the globe, supposedly using their spines to get lodged in other places. The most
Alright.
recent of these tales took place back in 1997, when a man known only as FBC was out by a river in Itacoatiara, Brazil. The urge to piddle arose, so he took out his wonkadoodle and added his own stream to the river. But suddenly,
Why?
a gut-wrenching pain ripped through his wiener.
Why would you pee in the river when you're in it? At least hop out. That's basic piece of etiquette. You gotta think smart, my nigga. You can't just be pissing at random things you don't know. You gotta be smart about that. You know what I'm saying? Be smart. Don't just piss
Something had swum up it and got stuck.
Don't just piss. Don't just put your dick out everywhere, bro. Keep that shit concealed. So, did it swim in his...
Yep, a Candiro. The frightful fish was lodged inside his urethra, spines sticking agonizingly into him and preventing its removal. Hours upon hours of surgery was the only thing that could get it out. Just the idea of a spiky, slimy creature.
of a spiky fish. But imagine you whip your dick out to take a piss, and then all of a sudden, you feel a pain, and you just look down, bro, and there's a fish in your dick, bro. What do you do, bro? There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is just pay a nigga to get rid of it, bro. That's the only thing you can do.
Creature stuck up there makes me gag. But thankfully, this story is probably just that, a story. While Candiru do exist, there's no real evidence of the fish ever swimming up anyone's pee stream, only
Thank God.
legends and hearsay. It should be physically impossible for one to overcome the force of the pee flow anyway. Even so, would you ever risk a swim in Candiru-infested waters?
Hell no.
Let me know down in the comments. Unforgiving fibromyalgia. The one reprieve about the punishing pain inducers I've mentioned so far is that they've all been curable. But some things aren't so simple. The sufferers of fibromyalgia know this all too well. The incurable condition not only causes pain throughout your whole body, but also increases your sensitivity to other pain. So if constant pain doesn't sound bad enough for you, any
When cherry blossom scent and superior strength collide, a trash bag is
Damn, that's like the 18th ad on some shit.
It's time to break up with your basic
Heavy
cleanser
ass.
and get with Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Cleansing Gel.
But what is incurable in this?
anything painful at all is turned all the way up to 11, meaning a bumped knee might feel like a broken bone. As well as enduring this hell,
So your sensitivity's just turned up. So essentially, if I also like, so it's just like a state of high sensitivity. So basically, if you step on a Lego, which is painful, would you just like stepping on a Lego already sucks, but like if you were to step on a Lego with high sensitivity, what would that feel like? Would it just like, would it feel like someone just stabbed you in the foot? Is that what it would feel like, or worse? Like,
sufferers are fatigued, stiff, and find it difficult to concentrate or remember things. But the worst part is that scientists aren't even sure what causes the disease in the first place. It's been linked to both physical and mental factors. So the physical trauma of childbirth is just as likely to bring it on as a particularly bad breakup. They think its roots lie in the central nervous system incorrectly processing pain, but I'm sorry to say they don't know for sure. What we do know is that you really don't want to get diagnosed with it. Here's one to you, fibromyalgia sufferers. Torturous torsion. Ask any guy and they'll go to great lengths to explain just how much being walloped in the crown.
is testicular torsion where your balls twist around each other? Like you just, I heard someone went through this
Jewels
recently on some
really hurts. This is because the male nether region contains a huge amount of densely packed nerve endings in a small area, which aren't protected by any bones, muscles, or fat. So a solid hit to them can feel world-endingly painful. However, there's a fate far, far worse. And one I'm going to have to word very carefully so it doesn't set off all of YouTube's takedown algorithms. Testicular torsion is when the cord that connects a man's marble to the rest of his body twists around, cutting off the blood supply to the marble itself. As well as immense pain, sufferers feel sick, feverish, and dizzy. Don't even try talking to them. It'll be like they're on a different planet. A planet of pure pain. Crazily, you don't even need to be doing anything.
That sounds awful, my nigga, bro. Imagine you wake up, bro, and your balls is just like all twisted up and shit. So you gotta like, do you have to like untwist it? Is that the only way to get rid of this?
Anything active for it to happen, fellas. It could happen in your sleep. But scariest of all, if the torsion isn't untwisted through surgery within 12 hours, the lack of blood can, brace yourself, completely kill your marble. And that's right, total marble death. To the point one or both of your crippled conkers will have to be removed entirely from their casing. I know I've covered some grim stuff in this video, but testicular torsion is truly twisted.
Bro, come on, bro.
Sinister syndrome.
Is this that's like the most dangerous jellyfish in the world. Can't that thing like kill you? And
When you're on a
bro, I'm pretty sure somebody said like, I watched a video and somebody said that jellyfish can bend you over psychologically and physically.
hot vacation, nothing's quite as relaxing as taking a dip in the cool ocean waters. You know what could really ruin your zen though? If somebody swam up behind you, pulled out an electric drill, and started relentlessly drilling into your lower back with it. Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. Well, unfortunately, the sting of an irukandji jellyfish is said to feel just like that. This group of minuscule box jellyfish measure in at barely half a cubic inch, the same size as a human thumbnail, and can be much smaller. So they're practically invisible in the waters of Australia where they're found. Which is a problem, because they're one of the most venomous jellyfish in the world. Despite their teensy size, the irukandji's sting is 100 times more potent than a cobra's bite.
Jesus.
Accidentally brushing against one of these tiny terrors will at first feel like nothing more than a mosquito bite. But then the pain will grow and
Vegito!
grow, making
No,
you feel
no,
nauseous,
no.
giving you a pounding headache, and
Goku!
causing all the muscles in your body to cramp up excruciatingly. This is called
sucks.
Irukandji syndrome, and before it happens, you'd better have made it out of the water and got medical attention, or things will get a whole lot worse. Some nurses have reported treating patients who vomited every single minute for 12 hours and sweated so profusely that their bed sheets had to be wrung out every 15 minutes. These people were the lucky ones. In rare cases, the bite-sized jellyfish
Bro, throwing up every minute for hours sounds like hell.
have even been known.
Could you even throw up at that point? Because you can only throw up if there's stuff in your body, like food. So would
to
you just throw
kill.
up air?
And to top it all off, throughout the entire ordeal, the sting brings on such an intoxicating level of anxiety, the victims feel an overpowering sense of impending doom. Crikey. If it's anything like the impending doom I feel when my alarm goes off in the morning, ooh, it must be terrible. The stone stent. We've already covered the tormenting agony of kidney stones. However, I didn't tell you about the aftermath. Interested?
That's another phase? Oh,
AccuView contact lenses help me to focus. I just feel like I can conquer anything.
Well, seeing as you asked so nicely, as we've seen, in especially bad cases of kidney stones, surgery can be required to remove them. After this surgery, your ureter, that's the tube that carries pee from your kidney to your bladder,
yeah.
might be a little damaged and not functioning correctly. In order to ensure you can piddle properly, there's only one thing for it: taking an 11-inch long rubber tube and ramming it up your pee hole all the way from bladder to kidney.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, so the procedure's a bit more delicate than that, and the tube's proper name is a arterial stent, but the end game
So
is
they
the
gotta shove it up your dick?
same. The stent keeps your ureter open and prevents blockages. As if going through the hell of kidney stones wasn't bad enough, now you've got to walk, talk, and live with a great big plastic tube stuck inside you. Unsurprisingly, your body doesn't take too kindly to this intestinal intrusion. You might get bladder spasms, constantly feel the need to wee, be sick, and boy, don't get me started on what it's like to actually pass urine. Reddit user Difficult Minute describes the pain of peeing as so bad it brings you to your knees. But to reduce the risk of infection, you have to drink as much water as you can. So with every sip, you know you're drinking yourself closer to another bout of severe suffering.
So it's
What about when it's time to take the stent?
You gotta drink the water so you don't. But if you don't drink water, you can get infected and it might get worse. But at the same time, you drink more water, more piss, more pain.
Out though.
But you
Don't
gotta
worry.
endure it, though.
It has a piece of string attached to the end of it that pokes out of your pee hole the entire time you have it in. Oh, and by the way, if the string so much as tickles against something, it'll send a sharp spike of pain right up your gonads. After up to 3 whole months of this torture, your doctor will take a good hold of the string and yank the entire 11-inch nightmare out of you. Man, you'd be feeling pretty strung out after that ordeal. Antagonistic ant. Earlier on, I mentioned how the tarantula hawk ranked number 2 on Justin Schmidt's pain index. So, what insect sting is painful enough to take the top spot? Well, it's one you seriously don't want to mess with. The bullet ant. This monster of an ant grows over an inch long, and its sting is so powerfully painful that many people believe it's the worst pain known to man. Schmidt described a bite in his foot from the ant like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. Not only this, but the pain can last an entire day, coming in waves of agony. And if you happen to get stung while wandering the rainforests of Central and South America, where these blighters live, you're unlikely to be stung just once. That's because after a bullet ant stings you, it releases chemicals that signal other ants to repeatedly sting the target too. Oh, come on. The ants inject you with a ponerotoxin, which, as well as triggering excruciating pain, can also cause temporary paralysis, fever, and an irregular heartbeat. Yay! But at least it's not fatal. There's actually an indigenous tribe called the Sateri-Maue in Brazil that use the ants in a coming-of-age ritual. At just 13 years old,
Why?
children of the tribe must put their hands into gloves full of the angry, stinging insects for a full 10 minutes. Australian comedian Hamish Blake tried to complete the ritual, but found the pain so intense he passed out and had to be hospitalized. Luckily, he left with nothing more serious than a swollen hand, although he left his dignity with the 13-year-olds.
That sounds like
Strabismus
What? Open eye
surgery.
with no.
It goes without saying that having a time machine would be pretty wild. There are some points in history, though, that I really wouldn't want to go back and see, like eye operations in 18th century England. Back then, medical science was a lot more, rudimentary. Before anesthetic became commonplace, surgeons carried out complex and often harrowing procedures without giving the patient any painkillers. What's more, the whole affair was carried out in an operating theater with an audience of curious onlookers.
What?
As such, people were terrified of
So niggas was just looking at you get your eye poked out. The fuck? So you telling me I gotta get operated on in immense pain, and niggas is just can stare.
surgery, and rightly so. Now, English surgeon John Taylor was the first person to try and correct amblyopia, a childhood condition also known as lazy eye, where vision doesn't develop properly in one eye. Today, most cases are treated by placing an eye patch over the good eye, forcing the weaker eye to develop. But Taylor's methods were nothing short of horrifying. Taylor would lie a patient down on the operating table, force their bad eye open with a little metal tool, and take up a pair of surgical scissors. Then he'd bring down the scissors toward the patient's lazy eye and poke them right into the corner, making a deep incision, all while they were completely conscious. As if a pair of scissors stabbed directly through your eye wasn't terrifying or painful enough, Taylor then snipped a slice through the bad eye. Jeez. This, he explained, was to cut the nerves of the extraocular muscle, which is the muscle that controls the movement of the eyeball. But it turned out that Taylor was a fraud. The cut he made in his patient's eyes were just random slices, and to hide his shoddy work, he patched the patient's good eye up after surgery. Without the good eye for reference, the lazy eye looked as if it had been fixed. So not only did his patients endure
So not only did this nigga put these niggas through medical hell, he was also a fraud. This nigga ain't do shit.
a traumatically painful surgical procedure, but they also still had a lazy eye at the end of it. Yeah, I'd be pretty cut up about that one.
I'd be pissed.
Okay, if you managed to get to the end without at least grimacing, well, I'm not sure if I should be more impressed or worried. Either way, what did you think looked the worst? And what's the most painful thing?
I don't know, but it has to be the testicular torsion and the eye surgery, because that shit sounds like ass, bro. That shit sounds horrible, but well, I guess that's the video. I guess it's